presentation is about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Our theory is that he was shot by multiple gunmen, not just Lee Harvey Oswald, and that the CIA set up those gunmen to kill him in Dallas, Texas. This is our theory by Philip and Graham.
Alright, so the official story is that Lee Harvey Oswald fired 3 shots. The first shot bounced off the street and hit a bystander. The second shot hit JFK's neck, went through his neck, and hit the Texas governor who was sitting in front of him, and then went in his back and out the front of his chest, hit his arm, bounced down his knee, and then came out perfectly intact. The third shot hit Kennedy in the back of his head, killing him. This is known as the magic bullet theory, and this is the official story from the Warren Commission, who concluded that Oswald acted alone in the assassination.
Alright, here's why that story is completely false. So John Connally, the governor of Texas at the time, who was also shot on that day, believes that he and JFK were hit by 2 different bullets because of the kind of gun Oswald was using. He was using a bolt-action rifle, and it would have been physically impossible for him to fire the shots fast enough to hit Kennedy and Connally. However, if somebody was sitting on the grassy knoll that was right next to the motorcade, it would have been made much more sense that that mystery shooter had hit Kennedy and Oswald hit Connally. So another thing that supports this theory of another gunman was the bystander that was shot by the ricochet of Oswald's first bullet, heard shots ring out, and then he turned around before being hit by the ricochet, meaning that there had to have been someone else other than Oswald firing. And then here's where the CIA starts to tie in. The driver was trained by the CIA, and after hearing the shots start, instead of doing anything smart to escape the bullets, he slowed down to 7 miles an hour. The U.S. House Select Committee on Assassinations later concluded that the Warren Commission and the FBI investigations about this day were completely flawed, in large part because the Warren Commission was staffed by mostly CIA members. The new committee, the HSCA, was formed because the CIA was caught hiding evidence about this day. The committee used technology to pull the audio from the video of the assassination, where 6 or 7 shots could be heard on the tape. However, no one knows for sure because the very next day, that tape, which supposedly contained multiple gunshots being heard, just randomly disappeared from a CIA-controlled facility. And then another thing that adds to this theory of it being a setup with multiple shooters is the Umbrella Man. This man was sitting right near the motorcade. He opened his umbrella on the exact moment the shots began and closed it right after JFK had died. So the theory is that he was signaling to the shooters to open fire because JFK had passed. And then afterwards, he was photographed just sitting down on the side of the curb after JFK had been shot, which is a very weird thing to do considering the president just died right in front of you.
Alright, so now that there's pretty strong evidence hinting that the CIA killed JFK, why would they? The CIA could have killed JFK for many reasons, but the theory focuses on a few main ones. The Bay of Pigs was an attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro, the Cuban dictator at the time. The CIA planned an attack to create an uprising against the government, which failed. After this, JFK fired many of high-ranking officials in the CIA. This angered the CIA, giving them a reason to kill him. JFK also wanted to withdraw troops as the Vietnam War was escalating. Along with this, JFK was friendly towards the Soviet leader Khrushchev at the time, and the CIA did not like this because they hated all the communism, and that gave them a perfect reason to kill JFK. So, who believes this theory? Well, after thorough research, we can conclude that Joe Rogan, Mike Tyson, Dave Chappelle, Kanye West, and 51% of all Americans believe in this theory. It's crazy, right? Well, could this be true? True or false question, right? So the CIA hated JFK, and there's lots of evidence that there were multiple shooters, meaning that this theory very well could have been true. I mean, the magic bullet theory, pretty suspicious, right? Like, how could it go through all those people with like a weak gun like that, you know? And overall, me and Philip, our beliefs on the conspiracy, we believe that it could have happened, it might not have. Overall, we have very mixed feelings about the conspiracy and the reasons that JFK was assassinated, and the magic bullet theory make it hard to deny. But it is hard to think about a government organization killing their own country's leader. I mean, like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, that is crazy. Thank you for watching our presentation. These are our sources here. Uh, I'm Philip, and this was Graham, and also there was Graham.
Yeah, this was like a really crazy story, you know? Alright, thank you.